When you think of the most violent man in MMA, who comes to mind? Some gladiators lay claim to that mantle, but the Diamond Dustin Poirier is the most bloodthirsty of them all.
Dustin Poirier is a bad motherfucker. He's a bad motherfucker.
He loves those fights where you come out guns a-blazing, he weathers a storm, and then he pieces you up, dude.
A man with no undisputed title to his name, but the Diamond's legacy is simply unbreakable. There are no requirements to be an MMA fighter. Any man or woman from any background can pick up the gloves and chart their course. But for the Diamond, his fighting fire within was ignited from the youngest of ages.
I didn't go to a whole lot of school, honestly, man.
Really?
Yeah. I started getting in trouble in middle school.
Were you just like fighting people?
Yeah, stuff like that. Getting expelled from middle school for fighting and stuff like that. I'm from north side of Lafayette, Louisiana. It's a tough area. But yeah, I was just always getting in trouble and scrapping and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. When I dropped out of school, finding combat sports, the thing for me was when I was watching these guys fight, the grit and determination that they showed, I just for some reason knew I had that. Whatever that was, I knew I could do that. The first day I ever laced up a pair of boxing gloves and went to a gym and started sweating and just the camaraderie of the other guys in there fighting, and it felt like home. And I mean, from that day, I never looked back.
A chip on the shoulder, an unbridled fire that was yet to be controlled. All too common traits that had led many in Dustin's situation down the wrong path towards a life of crime. Mixed martial arts would temper that flame, directing his energy towards a long road of pain and struggle, but one in which with time could bear success. To stay on it though, he needed something, or perhaps someone, to balance his emotions.
And you met your wife in Louisiana?
Yeah, in middle school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is a picture of me right when I started training. I was probably about 200 pounds in that picture. Big transformation.
And so you guys were just like sweethearts, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
When I was in juvenile detention, she was writing me letters every week. One of the only, besides my mother, only letters I would get was her. And when I got out of juvenile detention, she was there. She drove all the way out, to watch me leave and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm gonna marry this girl.
I've said this before, but I don't think I would be as successful of a fighter without her.
I wouldn't have had an anchor to come back home to every night, to cook a meal with, to watch a movie, to go to Blockbuster back in the day and get some takeout Chinese food.
Okay.
Huge part of my fighting success, my wife, for sure.
Yeah.
His wife, an emotional anchor, the pieces were in place to chart that fighting course. And following an impressive amateur run, Dustin's long professional tenure and first step towards the UFC would begin.
What's up, my baby?
7-0 as an amateur, the very same as a professional. That streak would earn him a chance in the WEC, the premier promotion for MMA's lighter weight classes. For at the time, in 2010, the UFC was yet to play host for warriors fighting within them. A clear step up in competition, far and away from Louisiana's regional promotions. And soon Dustin would endure loss for the very first time.
For the winner by unanimous decision, Danny Lasco Castillo.
His first failure inside of the cage, yes, but Dustin had been fighting his entire life. And this was a blessing in disguise. For many gladiators who chart undefeated streaks and records, they crumble and wither when loss finally confronts them. An opportunity for growth, and with a returning victory months later over Zach Mickelwright, greater news was soon to follow.
Now I confidently present it to you and ask you the question, is WEC merging with the UFC?
Yes.
A significant milestone for the company and its fighters, the lighter divisions and their kings now with UFC belts wrapped around the waist instead of WEC ones. Dustin was far away from that accolade, yes, but in the featherweight division he aspired to make a name for himself. And now on the big stage, he would finally have his chance.
He's light and crispy up. Beautiful body shot. Combination. He's tagging him. Poirier caught him there, Mike.
And then caught him with an uppercut, and then he caught him with the left hook.
Trying to crank on it. Nice.
Can he finish it?
Deep
It is all over. Dustin Poirier, winner by submission.
He's going to break his arm.
It is all over.
That's brilliant.
Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Who do you want next? And of course, the champion, Jose Aldo. Who do you want next?
On a good streak, finishing fights. I think Korean Zombie will be a fun fight, a good matchup. We both match up well, I think, and the fans would love it.
Because that guy, the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung-jung, is very tough.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
UFC announced last week that this will be a title qualifier fight. I see holes in his game, and I'm sure he sees holes in mine. We can beat the crap out of each other.
Really putting Poirier in a bad spot. He's in the dirt shop right now. He can finish this. Has used. Korean Zombie just finished him with his own choke. Korean Zombie.
I trained hard. I owed it to my wife and to myself. And, you know, it's a big hit to me, man. This is my life, you know.
That is an important thing, right? Learning how to lose, because there's some guys that for whatever reason, they have all this confidence, all this momentum, and then they lose, and they lose like 30% of who they are.
Like when I take my losses, I go back to the gym and try to drown myself in work and remain a student. And these guys who get to that pinnacle and stay there for a while, then they lose. Are they still that student that they were that got them to that height?
That loss to the Korean Zombie had left a chip on the shoulder. Poirier had something to prove there, his first time on a main event stage, but he had come up short. The fire that had brought him to the dance had never wavered though, and with the following 4 wins from his next 5, in 2014 he would be paired with someone on a similar trajectory. Surging, brash, violent, and unknowingly yet, the sport's biggest ever star. The Notorious, as he would come to be known, was in truth operating on a different wavelength to everyone else. For he understood how to win a fight before any bell had even been rung. McGregor's mental games weren't anything new, but the intent behind them most certainly was. Trash talk that was scathing and preyed on weakness and insecurity. Whilst fighters of yore like the American Gangster used their verbal skills to sell fights, Conor's intent was to hit his opponents always where it hurt the most, deep within.
His shots are basic, and I believe this is where it comes to an end. You know, when he walks into something sharp off me, he's going to hit the canvas hard, and that will be that. I'll catch him with a jab, or maybe a gust of wind. I don't know, his chin is weak. A gust of wind could make him do the chicken dance.
It was very personal. I was emotionally invested, like you said. I cared too much. I wanted to hurt the guy. Not even seeing the footage, I can remember what that felt like.
You're ready to fall.
I've never disliked somebody that much that I've ever fought.
I just cared what everybody said, and I felt like I was fighting everybody. I felt like the UFC was against me.
Look, don't get me wrong, I like the kid. He's a quiet little hillbilly from the back ass of nowhere. I'm sure he grew up in a circus or a fair. You know, he's a nice little kid. You know, his cousin's probably named Cletus or something. I don't know. He's a nice kid.
This is gonna be good for him. He needs an ass whipping like he's about to get. It's gonna make him a better person in the long run. You're welcome, Conor.
I don't like this guy, you know, and I'm not sure. It sounds like he doesn't like me, obviously. Well, we're gonna go in there and see who's a better fighter. You know, that's what it comes down to.
I just way too emotional.
Yeah. You ain't shit.
What's up? That's good. What's up?
Yeah.
Though he wasn't yet the superstar he would go on to become, McGregor had made this duel feel for Dustin like it was the biggest of his life. The stakes firmly raised, victory would be total vindication, but loss, complete humiliation.
Man, they have been on each other's nerves for weeks.
It's happening. Here we go. All this, you know, all that talk and everything over the months just sat in my head. When the bell rang, I was like a deer in the headlights.
Here we go!
Another nice leg kick by Poirier. He's so loose.
Yeah.
Even, you know, like a high-profile fight like this.
Having a conversation, looking to finish the fight.
That's it.
It is
It's over.
How long does 178 live with you?
That's part of my life. That's gonna live with me forever. That loss will never be off my record. Those highlights of me getting hit will never be gone. That doesn't go away, you know? That's forever.
The loss to McGregor was a reality check on multiple fronts. For although Poirier had clearly been compromised from that left-hand shot, the real damage was done mentally long before the cage door had shut. Until now, he had been fueled by raw emotion, using it to bolster his fighting efforts. The Notorious had seen and exploited that fact, dismantling his adversary with words alone. But once again with loss came the opportunity to learn, and alongside a calculated move up to the lightweight division, Dustin's return would mark the start of a new era, one focused only on his family and finding victory.
Like they say, adversity introduces a man to himself.
Yeah.
So when you win, you learn the whole camp, but when you lose, you learn a lot about who you are too.
Oh, man, Poirier pouring it on. Oh, that was a hard right hook. You can't get back to
Even in a devastating loss to Michael Johnson, it was a lesson learned rather than a moment to be ruminated upon. As Poirier had matured with age, so too his fighting style. Still fierce and unrelenting as he always had been, but now every punch and kick was cerebral, purposeful, and with absolute intent. The belt clearly remained the goal, but as Dustin's journey continued, his motivations would come from another place, and one far more personal.
Having a daughter has helped me a lot. Put things in perspective.
Really?
Fighting is just something I do. I love it, and I'm passionate about it, and I'm addicted to it, and I want to be the best in the world. But at the end of the day, that's just fighting, man.
Right.
I'm a father.
Right.
And she has a life, and
I get to come home and be dad and watch cheer stuff with her and watch her work on her routine. And I get to be the fighter and do all that stuff, but then I get to come home, take the gloves, put them down, and just be dad.
It took me a long time to realize that, but that stuff is caring less.
Yeah.
Caring less about fighting. I feel like I'm a better fighter now.
Yeah.
The debt of blood mounting after every duel was now in service to his daughter. The mental price paid down the line ignored with the goal of financial security. And with this maturity and newfound motivations, Dustin would truly earn his nickname, El Diamante, a man unbreakable.
The chip that he carries throughout his whole career. You're never at ease with some guys, and Dustin is one of those guys.
Poirier finding the range now, late in round one.
He's taken out like champion. Anthony Pettis, champion. Gaethje was a champion.
Big left hand lands by Poirier. Gaethje nearly out on his feet. Poirier continues to land. Dustin Poirier, goodness! Knockout!
I've been close to the mountaintop. I've been knocked down, and I've climbed back over and over again. 2 different weight classes.
Alvarez is hurt again. What a warrior, Eddie Alvarez. That's the Poirier finish.
That was it. Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier.
A 5-fight winning streak over divisional mainstays, legends, and former kings. It was a run that not only bred financial success, but cemented Dustin as a fan favorite. Whilst fighters like his old adversary, the Notorious, continued to chart a legacy, largely through venom's spat on press conference microphones, Dustin's star power and fame was carved solely inside of those cage walls through every punch and kick. The blood shed in those outings would grant him a coveted shot at a title, albeit interim, against one of the sport's greatest. A former adversary at that, but one who had gone on to achieve everything and more since. Enter the man they called Blessed.
He's the baddest motherfucker. I think he's the best 145er ever.
Yo, Max is fresh. Max is getting better.
12 post-fight show. Max Holloway knocks down Jose Aldo.
At the end of the day, the Blessed Express is going around in a circle. We laughing you, bro.
Against the Diamond years ago, he was a green prospect, but now Max Holloway was a fighting legend. The reigning featherweight champ through his victories over Jose Aldo, and now seeking double championship status. It was 2 strikers of the highest pedigree, 2 legends' paths intertwining once more, this time for golden glory.
Holloway competing in the division in which many people actually believe he will do his best work going forward. Dustin Poirier in the blue trunk. Max Holloway is in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
Brawled a little bit more than I wanted to. I knew it was going to be a gunslinging match.
Oh! Max clipped him. Oh! Massive block from Poirier. Holloway still firing offense back.
These boys are going at it.
My goodness.
I might have won the first. He came back. Then I hit him with a good knee, and he started pouring blood.
Oh, Holloway busted wide open, Joe.
He landed more than Dustin Poirier, but when Dustin landed, you could see that it fucking counted.
Final 10 seconds. The standing ovation has already started here in Atlanta. Poirier and Holloway go the distance.
Amazing fight.
My wife knew that I was going to go out there, and I was willing to leave a piece of myself in there, and I might have.
Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Man, this feels amazing. I feel like I'm in a dream right now. Like I said before, man, this is my belt. I earned this in blood. I paid in full. This is mine.
The winner and new champion, ladies and gentlemen, Dustin Poirier.
Dustin had finally done it. Moments like this are what fight fans live for and are exactly why I started this channel. If you believe in them as I do, then consider supporting my Patreon. In a time where AI-generated content is running rampant and YouTube AdSense is increasingly volatile, every aspect of these videos is meticulously put together by yours truly. And by supporting the Patreon, you allow me to keep telling these stories. By joining my Patreon, you'll get exclusive early access to my MMA documentaries with 0 ads weeks before they hit the channel, as well as extra bonuses such as your name in the credits of every video, creator masterclasses for those looking to do YouTube, and voting power on future projects.
How about you bitch? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Joining the Patreon and supporting the channel is as easy as hitting the link below, but if not, hitting the subscribe button is more than enough.
Make sure you guys leave a like for Leo Cooper MMA.
Paid in blood, paid in full. A belt earned through a journey tougher than most, capped off with a cathartic release of emotion. The Blessed Express was never going to go down easy, and only a man as equally unbreakable could be the one to best him. There was 10.5 pounds of gold around the waist. That was never in dispute, but its true worth most certainly was. For on the sidelines, the mantle of Undisputed lay in the hands of one of the sport's most feared. A gladiator once regarded as a villain, now respected through sheer skill and strength. Raised to fight to be the greatest, Khabib Nurmagomedov had returned to the fray. Very few fighters can maintain that aura of immortality, but the Dagestani was one of them. An undefeated record was impressive, but even more so the damning reality. Not one of 27 men he had faced had ever truly landed flush. Fresh off his duel against the Notorious in the sport's biggest ever bout, Khabib had siphoned that hype and earned the reverence of every combat sports fan. Even with Dustin's extensive pedigree, he was well and truly entering the lion's den. Enemy territory in Abu Dhabi, the pressure was on, but it is under pressure that diamonds are forged.
Dustin Poirier working on a guillotine here. Nurmagomedov staying composed.
That guillotine you got Khabib, and it's the closest he's ever been caught. It was so
Sticks to the guillotine to keep it, and that's in.
Very close when Dustin tried to choke me. Crazy guy. He think I'm gonna tap in front of my father.
Wow! Nurmagomedov pops his head out. Crowd goes bananas.
And now Nurmagomedov knows how tired Dustin Poirier's arms are, and he gets right on the hand.
He just knew where my weight was and where it needed to be. He's good.
That's in. That's in.
Nurmagomedov under the chin. There's the tap. Khabib Nurmagomedov, 28-0.
I was just so prepared, for tonight. This one really hurts. I just didn't do enough, and I have to live with it for the rest of my life.
There is no shame in loss, especially to a warrior as revered as Khabib Nurmagomedov, but within Dustin it still stung. He had come closer to victory than most. The fine margins of that guillotine choked the decider between his dreams and the cold reality. The MMA gods did not grant him that day, a fairy tale moment that many had wished for, but it had never been a secret that this game is the most unforgiving, and the only option was to return to the training room and keep pushing. Through that loss, also a silver lining. An opportunity to financially give back, pay it forward to those less fortunate. The many struggling just as Dustin once did. His charity, the Good Fight Foundation, proved that Poirier was a man violent in the cage, yes, but benevolent out of it.
The Good Fight Foundation is a nonprofit me and my wife started a few years ago. I started auctioning off my fight-worn memorabilia to help local causes in the community around Lafayette, Louisiana. Being a father really opened my eyes. Having a kid of my own really let me know how much I enjoy being around children and how much I enjoy seeing them have a good time and the innocence, There's not a bad thought that comes through their minds. They're just pure. 2021, we're doing tutors for all of their 6 locations because, social distancing and the learning kids at home, it's been a mess. And also transportation to and from the Boys and Girls Clubs for the year for the kids.
Oh, gang.
Yeah, we're going to open up a gym in Lafayette for
really
for the for the kids. Yeah.
Fighting the good fight out of the cage was a privilege, but duty was calling inside of it too. Even as the world ground to a halt in the wake of COVID-19, the UFC marched on and so did its gladiators. The Apex Center, a haven for violence, Poirier could earn his keep still, and against the hangman Dan Hooker, he would be paid in full.
Soon. Wow! I mean, food fight. This is incredible. They're getting a lifeline, but those body shots. Body and now Poirier with a counter. Oh, those landed hard. Oh! Yeah, that one hurt. Nicely defended. Poirier finishing this fight very, very strong. By unanimous decision, Dustin Poirier.
It was a tough one, man. Dan came to the fight. He's a tough guy. He's on the rise. He really thought that he was going to get past me. He talked a lot of trash, like he was going to move forward and fight the champ. But I'm the champ, man. This is what I do. I love this. I put all the work in.
This was a jewel that took years off the life, but Poirier had long accepted his debt of blood in the chase of gold and glory. Where every punch and kick could be heard inside of that empty Apex arena, those 25 minutes remain one of the greatest showcases of MMA to date. A win over Dan Hooker, whilst admirable, was not enough to warrant another title shot in a division as stacked as lightweight. But a victory over the sport's biggest star, a different story. At Fight Island, the Notorious had returned to make his mark, seeking a second victory over this new Dustin Poirier. But Conor had changed too. On the surface, no longer a man brash, vitriolic. Instead, just like Dustin, tamed by the family life and better for it.
What was it like fighting Conor when he wasn't an asshole?
Fighting is hectic already.
Yeah.
You're about to go in there for 25 minutes and you've been training, so you know what's on the line. So it's just a lot of pressure. Just it being a little bit more calm for me was smooth sailing, man.
You've got the hot sauce, Dustin. I'm actually I'd love to taste the hot sauce.
I got a bottle for you.
I'm honored to share this octagon with this man. I know we have this competitive fire and it's still there. There's still that, but the respect is admirable for this man from me.
Conor's, I just want to clear the air. Conor's team, McGregor Sports Entertainment, did reach out to my foundation, and they are, starting the donation to the Good Fight Foundation, and we have huge plans for that. So Conor, man to man.
Pleasure, brother, my pleasure.
Whether McGregor's niceties were his true self or a facade remained to be seen, but for Dustin it was a welcome change from their last time around. Two men both aged and evolved by the fight game, once upon a time with gold round both waists, now duking it out once again. At UFC 257, Dustin's attempt to rewrite that previous loss was deserving of a raucous crowd, but the millions at home instead would have to do.
He's going forward. In green, immediately takes the center of the octagon and lands a left hand.
Massive by Poirier to go and get a takedown.
There's a solid calf kick there from Poirier. Another calf
loves
kick.
the fight.
But Conor's pressuring him here. Nice shots.
That's very important for the game of Dustin Poirier. A lot of kicks.
I think that stopped his mobility, but ultimately, hands got the job done.
Dustin Poirier has...
Big left from Poirier, now a right hand.
A legend of the game, once revered and immortal, folded against the cage inside an empty arena. It was the Diamond who would lend that finishing blow, siphoning the hype from Conor with that right-hand shot and becoming one of the fight game's household names in the process. An action that all but guaranteed a shot at gold once more, this time against the reigning Charles de Bronx Oliveira, but the temptation of a trilogy duel instead beckoned. A third bout against the Notorious would mean financial security forevermore, but should it go the wrong way, another long road to the belt once again. The ultimate gamble, especially against a man as dangerous as Conor. But Dustin had backed himself his entire life, and he wasn't going to stop now.
You're getting walked like a dog in that octagon on Saturday night. I'm gonna go through his head, put holes in them and take it off its shoulders. That's the goal.
I felt like I saw a guy who's unsure of himself, scared, trying to hype himself. I feel like he has to work himself up to be that guy, and I am that guy. I don't have to do that. I know, if he'd have got close enough, you'd have seen it.
So it's on now. Saturday night he's getting walked around that octagon like a dog and put to sleep.
No, it's just business. I see a man here.
I see a corpse.
It's crazy.
I see a dead body.
That made him less powerful, I felt, because he's talking silly stuff about my wife. She's my husband or something. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? I'm talking about marriages, with the shit he's out there doing. So,
what is your final prediction after getting the chance to see him in person now tonight?
I think I'm gonna wring his little neck. It's looking a little skinny out there tonight.
Scheduled for 5-minute rounds if need be.
Yeah, he had Habib very tight.
Big elbow by Dustin. Big elbow.
Oh, his leg.
His leg's broken.
Karma's not a he's a mirror, and this guy's said the wrong and I've been busting and sometimes these things happen, and I beat the guy.
I was boxing the bleeding head off him, kicking the bleeding leg off him. Usual dive to close the distance. This is not over. If we have to take this outside with him, it's all outside. I don't give a bollocks.
McGregor's mask fully slipped. Those crude words spat no longer had any effect, whereas a younger Dustin would have reacted to them, sought to retaliate. The Dustin of today was calm, measured both inside and out of the cage. There would be those who forever debated the what-ifs of such an unsatisfying conclusion, but the momentum of the fight was only going one way, and the record books would forever show Dustin as the victor of this saga. A gamble that had paid off, and a title shot against the now champ swiftly booked. In the wake of Khabib's retirement and Dustin's monetary quest, de Bronx had swiftly filled that void, and now sought El Diamante as his first scalp. In most eyes, a far easier opportunity to win the belt than it ever was against Khabib. For despite Oliveira's incredible 9-fight winning streak and numerous accolades, he could never shake the reputation as a quitter. A man who faltered under any pressure or adversity. And if anyone could bring the former to the table, it was Dustin Poirier.
Dustin hurt him quick. The guy hit so hard. goodness, he's got, whoa, look at that. Look at the transition.
Agonizingly close. Just as Michael Chandler did the very same, Dustin was moments away from claiming what he had desired for so long. But it was the Oliveira, then and now. It's one thing to lose the title shot. It's something else entirely to lose the second. For even the most psychologically resolute in days gone have struggled with such an outcome. There will always be questions on Poirier's decision to chase money over glory, and Dustin would have to wrestle with those consequences and his inner demons. Renown was not enough anymore to warrant another shot at the belt. To get that, he would have to earn it. In blood.
Dustin Poirier submits Michael Chandler in round 3. That has got to feel good.
Dustin Poirier!
A victory that defined Dustin to a T and set him up to fight for another belt. Not one of shining gold rubies adorned, but silver instead. The BMF title. Fit for only the most bloodthirsty and game warriors, and an accolade that once belonged to Jorge Masvidal, now vacant and waiting to be claimed. Dustin would of course need a dance partner of equal measure, and who better than a man he had gone to war with once before. The human highlight, Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje is a monster.
Oh, he got him with a shoulder. That is it.
He hit like truck, you know, like nobody hit harder than Justin Gaethje.
Big right from Gaethje, and down goes Vic.
Everything he throws is designed to put you out.
Justin Gaethje by first round knockout again.
The human highlight and nickname most deserved. Gaethje's thirst for bloodshed and battle was most apparent in the record books. Dustin had bested him in a firefight years prior, but now both men had tread the same path. Interim kings, but nothing more. This new title wasn't undisputed either, but it was another string on the bow. Fire on fire, a duel of orchestrated violence. And at UFC 291, that's exactly what we got.
Belt fight underway. Dustin Poirier out of that southpaw stance in black. Justin Gaethje is in white.
Whoever on the losing end, it was always going to end violently. Dustin was caught, a small lapse of concentration in a game with fine margins. The Diamond knew he could still fight at the top level, but that loss to Gaethje in the eyes of fans had many asking questions all too familiar. Was Dustin finally at the end of the road?
We talked about the aftermath of the Gaethje fight, but there was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Like you were saying that like in the middle of the night, you would go into a hotel.
I felt like I was going crazy, man. I just couldn't get out of my head. Like I just felt like I just needed to be by myself. I didn't want to be around anybody. I was in a dark place, man.
Losing, you find out who you are. And losing sucks, but in those moments, like when you're down, it's a great time to experience you. You know, because like when you're winning, you can get this momentum. When everything's going good, you can kind of get in that groove where you're just on cruise control, you know? But when you lose and the phone stops ringing and you're at home laying in bed going to sleep by yourself and everything, the dust settles, you know, that's when you experience yourself, who you really are.
Guillotine again, though. He's going for it again.
You're a top contender in this division. You fought this guy who was a young, hungry lion.
Hold your position or lose it, man. That's the nature of the beast. That's what we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Diamond.
A win that meant more than just a green W and the financial boons that came with. Victory was total vindication, a reminder that Dustin was not yet broken. In a division stacked with constant flowing talent, Poirier remained unbreakable and still a fighting force. He would need to do more to earn a title shot, especially a third one, but the MMA gods would grant a twist of fate once more.
The co-main event.
I'm getting notes. This has never happened before. June 1st, Newark, New Jersey pay-per-view. Main event. Islam versus Poirier.
Man, I say truth. He always look good when he fight with some striking guys, but when he meet with some wrestlers, he always have trouble. That's why he don't believe.
He should listen to his coaches and box like they're telling him to. Do that, Islam. Let's box.
This is not boxing. This is MMA, man.
Well, you're gonna sleep like it's boxing.
We'll see, we'll see.
Poetic in many ways. Just as Dustin had dueled with the Nurmagomedov clan's leader, he would now, years later, do the very same with the Crown Prince. Islam Makhachev had long since stepped out of Khabib's shadow to carve his own championship path, and established a reputation as not just a great, but the reigning pound-for-pound king. The wrestling pedigree of his predecessor, the striking acumen honed under Javier Mendez. Islam was the complete fighting package, a specimen raised for war. But for the first time within, the pressure was hardly on. Poirier had long become content as the end of his career neared. Pegged as a retirement fight, win or loss, for Dustin it was one final flourish on the biggest stage of them all.
Gate north of 7 million to witness this championship fight. Poirier in the multicolored shorts. Islam Makhachev in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
His movement is really strange. The timing of it is really strange to get his cadence. I wanted to open up more and throw more volume.
And this is where what makes Makhachev so good, because he hasn't been able to get a takedown, but he's doing well in the stand-up now against Poirier.
And I enjoyed tonight. I did. I enjoyed it.
Dustin's fired up. Come on.
That left hand will help. He is in this fight.
And the last takedown was kind of like an ankle pick, low single that he sweeped, and it took me off my feet, and that's kind of what led to the end, you know.
Looking for a dart. Islam Makhachev with a submission.
You know, I came up short tonight, and it hurts bad because, like I said, I know I'm not going to get another chance. You know, I'm probably not going to get another chance to be the undisputed world champion, and that meant a lot to me. That's fighting. That's fighting.
Bruce Buffer may have bellowed the words, and still, the undisputed title slipping through the fingers the third time. But it was a fight that reinforced Dustin's legacy. He had shattered the immortal aura of a man many considered unstoppable. Where most thought it would be a quick night at the office for the king, Poirier had dragged him to hell and back. For most, a fitting end to a legendary career, but the clutches of the fight game's grip tighter than most, and the prospect of one final bout beckoned.
You know, you can do anything you put your mind to, and that's what I want my story to be. I want people to realize that no matter where you come from, if you believe and work hard enough, you can make dreams happen. Putting on wars, you know, with the best guys in the world, that's what a beautiful life. It's a beautiful story because I know the author. That's what it is.
Regardless of the duel with Holloway, nor the loss to Makhachev, Dustin never needed to win an undisputed title, nor a BMF one to prove his worth. He had done more in this game than many who had. Toppled legends, become a star, won gold of his own. But perhaps most important of all, come out the other side a father, a husband, and a good man.